And welcome back to Nerdmageddon here on KZLX and on KNWT's Facebook page. Thank you, guys. I am your host, Corey Herzog. With me, I have Simon Clark.
What's up?
Kinsey Duvall.
Hey.
And Molly Hauser.
Hello.
Happy Valentine's Day, guys.
Happy Valentine's Day. It's my favorite time, especially with Parks and Recreation.
And a special Happy Valentine's to honorary gal pal Simon.
Hi, I'm not a female, if you can't tell.
But you're still a pal of the gals.
I'm still a pal.
You're still a pal of the gals.
Yeah, so you get to celebrate with us.
Very well, I'm okay with that.
Yes. So, normally when we have our Nerd News Now segment, we talk about a variety of things. But this week we have just one topic. It is so big, we may not be able to cover everything within our selected time frame. The Oscars.
Man, I was going into, I heard about, who was nominated for Oscars, and I had so many very specific feelings about some of these movies. And I'm okay with the way it turned out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Could have been better, but.
I mean, everyone's going to have their opinion. Not everyone's going to be happy. But there's a lot. So I just want to get this out of the way. I don't know if you guys know this, but I love Idina Menzel. I don't know if I've mentioned that ever.
Maybe not specifically, but you have mentioned your love of Frozen.
But she gave a performance at the Oscars. But what made it really cool was they had Elsas from a bunch of the different countries that Frozen and Frozen 2 are produced in. And they all sang Into the Unknown together. And they sang it in, their specific languages. They each had, a little part. And then, they sang together. It was really cool.
Yeah. I didn't actually get to see that. But I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, it's cute, and I like it. And it was just a very wholesome thing. And I wanted to start off with something happy.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Oscars, it's kind of rare at points.
I mean, when we were talking about what we were going to, when we sat down and talked, so what are we going to do on the show for this week? They started talking about the Oscars, and my response was literally, wait, when were the Oscars?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I only knew because not only did I get on Twitter, that day, and Twitter was very much so hey, you could watch, the Oscars red carpet. And I was like, why would I want to? But because one of the people I follow did, the newspaper, I picked this person, and, this is my score for, who I got right for winning stuff. And I was like, good for you, man, caring about the Oscars.
Okay, this is more of a personal thing. I don't like people that do that. I really don't. I don't like it when...
People who watch the Oscars?
People who watch the Oscars and treat it like a March Madness bracket. That frustrates me because it's it doesn't matter.
I don't know if this was just something I did, if this was just my group of friends, but in high school we would get these really cheap fancy prom dresses from Goodwill and stuff, and we would wear those, we'd get all dressed up to sit on the couch and then just smear Cheetos and stuff on it while we're watching it. We did not take care of these at all, and we just got rid of them when we were done. We would wash them, donate them again, and but we just that was our thing. We'd get all dressed up to watch the Oscars and just smear stuff on it, wash it, and then go donate it to another Goodwill.
Interesting.
See, I whenever I watched the Oscars or the Tonys or whatever when I was in high school, I'd pretty much be sitting on my bed with my cats, and I'd be supporting, because there was at least one person or one movie I was supporting each bracket.
Yeah.
And so, I'd do, a little mini kind of, drum roll. I had my own thing of popcorn, and I'd, be petting my little cat, and, we just watch the Oscars, and...
That's cute. But the Oscars actually had the lowest viewership of the award ceremonies lately. According to, what was that source? Variety.com. Yeah, no, it's Vanity, not Variety. There was a 20% drop in viewership.
So that means like over 60 million.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
I mean,
That's still 23.6 million people who tuned in, though.
that is still impressive.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really been one for award shows besides one award show that only lasted for like 3 years, and that was for alternative music. But I do feel like there are a lot of people who do like award shows. I'm not one of those people, but it's impressive that they dropped so much but still had so many viewers.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised because after the Ricky Gervais, hosting, it was the Grammys. I thought more people would actually kind of tune in to see if something similar would happen, because he gave like such like a blunt like speech, at least at the beginning, and then like throughout the night he would just like drop all these like bombs on the audience.
Who was hosting the Oscars?
It was Ricky Gervais.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know what award show was like, we don't have a host.
Oh, wait, no. Ricky Gervais hosted the Grammys.
Yeah.
The Oscars were hosted by like Steve Martin and somebody else. I don't remember who it was.
But I think it was maybe the Oscars last year who were like, oh, we don't have a host because it's supposed to be Kevin Hart. And then they fired Kevin Hart for tweets that he tweeted out several years ago.
Yeah.
So, and that sparked a whole controversy. And as with all Oscars, there was controversy this year too. Specifically, Natalie Portman wore a dress in support of women directors.
The dress, it was a cape.
A cape, okay.
That she got embroidered with women directors, and then people immediately blew up at her.
Which confuses me because, I mean, like, why would you get upset about that? That's something, like, that's really cool. Like, why are people mad at her about that?
Because she owns a production company, I think, and she has never hired a woman director.
Oh, see, I
so
didn't
they were
know
like,
that.
Stop being performative, actually take action.
You
have the power to do it.
You are an actor. Action.
Yeah.
Do it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, my whole thing is the Oscars are supposed to be like, who did a better job? I don't care. Like, if it's like, oh, a woman did a better job or a man did a better job or anything like that. It's who did better. And ultimately, the Academy is full of, like, dusty old people.
Yeah.
No offense to other old people who aren't dusty, but it's dusty old people.
It really is. Although,
and a nun. I think there's a nun.
Is there a nun?
Yes. She was an actress, and like I know there's a nun who's been able to vote in the Academy. Like I know this is a thing. She was an actress.
I think.
And then she converted to Catholicism and became a nun.
All right.
Something that happened like this past weekend. So it's like I'm looking up Natalie Portman, her gown, and like, wow, it's gorgeous. I don't see what the issue was with it. And then
It's again because people are mad at her for being performative but not actually taking action.
But then like
It's more of what she like the statement she was trying to make instead of actually doing the statement.
Okay.
Sorry.
Back to the nun thing. I found out who it was. It's Dolores Hart. Her name is Sister Dolores Hart. She remains a member of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, and she's the only nun to be an Oscar voting member.
and then like I don't understand why like other people can't be happy for others' accomplishments.
It's because everyone has opinions and everyone thinks that their opinions are right. And they're not always right, but they always have reasoning for why they think their opinion should be right.
Yeah, that was a big issue with like Jojo Rabbit winning.
Yeah.
Because
It's such a good movie.
it is a very good movie.
It's hilarious. I loved it so much.
Yeah. And the thing is Jojo Rabbit's such a good movie. The adapted screenplay is wonderful. Taika Waititi did an amazing job. Made a lot of native peoples proud by doing that because he's part of the Maori native peoples in New Zealand. But people were up in arms saying like, oh, this male director who adapted this screenplay won this year. It should have been Little Women with their adapted screenplay. And I'm like, okay, Little Women is a dumb story. I don't like
Okay.
that story. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I have to say that I really liked it. Like, I get
Oh,
you
no,
thought it was dumb,
yeah.
but like I really loved Little Woman, so like I would have been happy if they had won. But I also understand, like, I haven't seen Jojo Rabbit, but I also understand, like, he deserved the win. It's great that he did.
Yeah.
But like, I also understand where if you just come at it as I really like Little Woman, I think it should have won instead of the let's have a women director win this time instead of another man.
I think here's another thing. Jojo Rabbit, it could very easily go wrong. That's the thing.
Because he was brought on to NPR a lot, and they kept asking him, like, oh, how do you get around people talking about you taking Nazi propaganda? And he's like, it's not propaganda. We're laughing at them.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of this movie.
Yeah. Well, and here's another thing. Okay, so the reason why I come at it from this point of view is my mom's side of the family is very German. My oma came from Germany. And it's one of those things where it's like you live in the country, you fight for that country. Because my great-great-great-grandfather was a soldier for the Nazis. Because that's where he was from, and he believed what he was doing was right. He didn't know, like, what all was really going on, though.
Right.
But it's like, I think they did a good adaptation on, like, how kind of they're getting into, like, the heads of, like, the younger kids, and they're growing up thinking that, with also making it a comedy and hilarious to laugh at how dumb some of the views and ideals were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think I explained that well enough. I hope I did.
But yeah, that's why I'm actually glad he won, because Little Women, you can't really get that wrong.
No.
It's a very wholesome story, you know, sisterly love. Like, you can't really go wrong with that one. Jojo Rabbit, on the other hand.
There was a risk. He took it, and it succeeded.
Yeah, it was a risk-reward thing, and I think that made it very worth it.
And that's Taika Waititi's whole thing, is just looking at things and be like, I'm going to do that. And then he does it, and he does it flawlessly.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's incredible. I mean, like, What We Do in the Shadows, the movie.
Yes.
Thor
Wait,
Ragnarok.
he directed.
He wrote and directed that, and also
God.
like the lead
Sorry.
singer. The lead singer from Flight of the Conchords was also a producer and
Okay.
director for it.
Nice.
I don't really pay attention to. I need to start paying more attention to like the directors of certain movies, because it's like I love like What We Do in the Shadows, and then Jojo Rabbit. Like I want to get that on DVD so bad.
Same.
Kind of going off the risk-reward thing, Joker, like, got a ton of Oscars, and people are kind of upset about that.
Why?
I don't-
I heard it was really good.
I don't
was.
think
Never
Joker
seen
is
it.
something I would have liked, but like I also understand it was very popular. Everyone kind of expected it to win a lot of awards because it was up for so many.
Yeah.
So people were
Yeah.
like, it's probably gonna win them.
The awards that I feel like it deserved, because how many did it get? Like 4 or 5.
Let me double check.
It got a good amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like neck and neck with Parasite,
Yeah.
but the 2 that it deserved
It got
were
2, I
Okay.
believe.
No. Okay.
No?
It got Best Actor, Best Original Music Score. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director. No, it did get 2. It was just nominated for a bunch, and
Yeah.
was like,
right. And I was gonna say that it well deserved those 2, because it got Best Actor with Joaquin Phoenix. He did such a good job. Like he destroyed his body for this. He like really just channeled it perfectly. And then didn't they also get like original score?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So 9 nominations and 2 wins.
Yes. Those 2 are very well deserving, very, very well deserving. I mean, the score for Joker, it's iconic. Everybody hears those first few notes from the bathroom scene, and they're just like, oh, I know exactly what this is from. And that's what, that award is all about. So
okay, so this is just a me thing, I think, but if it got Best Original Music Score, you would think it'd also get Best Sound Mixing.
you would think so.
But no.
I feel
No.
like there's a difference though between like original score and then sound mixing,
mixing.
because sound mixing seems to me more all encompassing. So like it's the
Yes.
vocals and like a lot of other stuff.
Think about it. We're in audio tech and
I
recording.
was gonna say.
I know, but you would just think like if they did such a good job like producing the music for it, you'd think they would have put like the same effort and probably would have won like the same.
But they might have put a little.
I think
some of that effort more into the music.
that's fair.
than
I think once you
all of
hear
it.
who did win the best sound mixing, it would make sense.
Who?
It's 1917.
Yes.
Okay. You
Yes.
really want to talk about this?
Yeah,
I do really want to talk about this.
We
Go for
both
it.
do, but I will allow you to
Yes.
go
Go,
first.
go.
1917. I went and saw this in the theaters a couple weeks ago. Or no, it was last week. Was it last week? It was before the Oscars. But I went and saw this, and this was the first time that I sat down in a movie theater, not fully expecting what I was getting into, because I mean, like, I've only seen the trailers and whatnot. But this movie was so beautiful and so well done, so well written. I cried twice in the movie theater.
Oh, God, same.
Oh, wow.
Same.
I cried twice, and I don't cry at films many times. The last film that made me cry was Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
I always cry.
That's understandable.
I always cry. I mean, the third movie of How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World made me cry. Continue. I cry. I am a baller.
No, there's just so many good parts in it, and I mean, the parts that I cried at were, I mean, like, I don't even want to.
Don't spoil it because I want to go see it.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna talk about it then, but I'm just gonna say the scenes.
Okay.
The dogfight scene.
Yes.
That one was sad.
Oh, yes.
Very sad.
Oh,
I
And-
okay.
Oh my God.
just
And then the other scene that I cried at was the ring scene. Yeah. So you know exactly what two parts I'm talking about.
okay,
And
but like the town scene.
yes.
Oh my God!
Okay, the thing is like looking at the movie was so beautiful to look at, because
The scenery, like just the scene and the setting, and how they did No Man's Land was so extremely accurate. Like
it was one shot.
I know. I don't think
One shot.
I don't think
One
I've
take.
ever seen like a World War I movie where like No Man's Land was so extremely accurate. Like it was beautiful. It was so gruesome and like dark,
It was
but it
very
still had
good.
this like eerie beauty to it, and I loved it. And
I mean, no, the city scene after he wakes
city
up.
scene. Oh my.
The lighting in that is the best part. Like I remember seeing that, and I was actually in awe. Like I almost stood up in the theater and like clapped during that part alone. And I mean, like, granted, there was only like 10 people in the theater, so I would have looked like an idiot. But
Oh my god!
It's okay, you are
there
an
was
idiot.
there was four of us in the
Thanks.
theater I was
You're
at, and it
welcome.
was me and my best friend Katie, because like we're both like, all right, we got to see this movie, because like I was leaving that Friday to come back to school, and we're just like, we have to see this movie. And so I like ordered us tickets. I got like coupons and whatnot for like, and we really wanted to see this movie. And there's so many times where I'm like, we're both just glued to the screen. And then there's like at one point where we looked at each other, and then yeah, oh, it was
it was insane.
Yeah. Other not like winners, nominees who sparked a little bit of controversy was Parasite. Let me talk about this because this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel you.
So, Parasite is a Korean film set in Korea, played by Korean actors, about the Korean class system. Like everything about this is Korean, including the director. He does not speak English.
Nope.
He gave his acceptance speech in Korean, and he actually kind of made fun of people who watch things with like he was just like, oh, if you get past like the 1 inch of text on your screen, you'll like see like this world of movies that you've never been exposed to.
Yeah.
Kind of calling out people who are like, oh, I don't like subtitles, or why would I watch something that's not in English? And it's sparking a lot of controversy about between the sub versus dub world.
Mm-hmm.
Really is. I know he said like 3 words in English before going into Korean.
Yeah.
From what I saw. But I know everyone just was like so mad. Like apparently one of the like reporters on the red carpet, either before or after, I can't remember which, asked him, why did you decide to have it in Korean? And hearing that almost made me like chuck my phone, because I was like, this is a Korean movie. He is Korean. All the actors are Korean. Like everything that Corey said when she was talking about why it was subtitled.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, why is that a question that someone felt the need to ask?
And something that is also really impressive and really interesting is I can't remember the last time a foreign language film won Best Picture.
The last time I remember anything being nominated was Run Lola Run. It was a German film back in the 1990s.
Yeah.
Which I do have on DVD if you guys ever want to watch. It's great. But yeah, so it's just impressive that Parasite even did this well in the US. And so just people... Like, I'm in the dub camp when it comes to anime. I've been pretty vocal about that just because I'm also a multitasker.
I mean, same.
And I try. I cannot, for the life of me, force myself to just sit down and focus on one thing. Like,
I can't either.
Simon's shaking his head at me.
No. You should know, going into an anime, like a story that you invest yourself in, you got to give all your attention to it. So, like, people were like, oh, you need to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I sat down one night. I just watched the whole first series. And I was like, wow, that was really good. And then I went and rewatched it dubbed. And I'm like, wow, I wish I hadn't done that. That was horrible.
Here's the thing. To kind of make up for it, I have the English subtitle, so it's the direct translation up. And so that way I can compare it.
Yes, and that's also another really important thing because JoJo, since it's so like memeable and so like,
really
oh
is.
wow, there's so many really good lines. You almost have to watch it subbed because otherwise you don't get the same effect. Like you won't be able to go and see, you won't be able to see the whole "it was me, Dio" bit in the first season and get like understand why it was so well received as opposed to him just shouting "it was me, Dio" in English and very emotionless, actually not very good. So
honestly, the voice acting, whether it's sub or dub, like makes or breaks a show.
It really
Oh, yeah.
Fairy Tale, horrible dub. Horrible dub.
I watch it dub.
Yeah, you made a mistake is what you did.
I tried to and I couldn't do it, so who
I
knows?
I watch My Hero dub, but they do a great
I mean,
job.
so I do too, but that's just because, again, like Corey said, I multitask. If I can watch it subbed, I will, but usually I
Right.
watch it dubbed because I feel bad just sitting there. Even if I get invested in it, I just feel bad just sitting there doing nothing but watching TV.
The only anime that I ever actually watched dubbed, or there's two, because I mean, like the first one was like the first anime I was ever exposed to, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I watched it on Adult Swim and they had it dubbed.
Yep.
The other one, Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah.
because I cannot handle Goku's Japanese voice actor's voice. It's too shrill and it hurts my ears. So like I mean, like I'll watch it, but at the same time I cringe every single time he talks. Like,
I've been watching a majority of the animes that I've been starting to get into, and that's another thing. I'm starting to get into them, so I'm watching them dubbed. But I did look up when was the last time a foreign film won Best Picture, and it looked like it was 1973, the movie Cries and Whispers.
oh my gosh.
Okay, I at least know Run Lola Run was nominated. I at least know
Yeah.
that. But it didn't win, and that makes me...
I feel like that just...
That shows the issues
Yeah.
with the Oscars is that
Yeah.
we aren't very open to foreign cinema, foreign presentation, which I actually find foreign cinema to be the most incredible thing. Because I mean, like, I took ethnofilm with
study.
Fred, and we watched Wadija, which was a Syrian film made by a woman from Syria in Syria.
Yeah. The one about, like, the bicycle?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I remember that one.
Yeah, and it was insane because it was the first time this has ever happened in history. And I watched it and I'm like, this has so much more meaning and it's so interesting. And then Sin Nombre, still arguably one of my favorite movies, the movie about the MS-13 member.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So
Rust
good.
and Bones from France.
Yes.
That was a good one.
I didn't like Rust and Bones just because it was weird and it was like sex. It's like sex at every
It was a
single
French
turn.
film, which you
Yeah.
expect. So, just to wrap things up, one last topic. Luke Perry and Cameron Boyce were left out of the In Memoriam video. And here was the Oscars reply. This was what they said, why they weren't in there. The Academy receives hundreds of requests to include loved ones and industry colleagues in the Oscars in Memoriam segment. An executive committee representing every branch considers the list and makes the selections for the telecast. They were left out because they probably weren't considered important enough at this point. That's me. Like, that was an end quote, I should say. But
yeah, it's upsetting. I mean, yeah, that's all I can say about it is it's upsetting.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of time on Kobe. Which, yeah, it's a tragedy, but at the same time, I'm like,
it was Kobe.
I mean,
it was Kobe.
A few of us also like grew up with Cameron Boyce. I know my younger sister was his idol, so it's like, you know, everyone deserves a little bit of space. We don't need to give more people time more than others.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that sad note, when we come back, we are going to be having a battle of the ships. We are going to have another bracket of our favorite ships, relationships. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for joining me. And as always, you nerd it here first.